Good morning. Welcome to Higher Edge 2025. Really appreciate you being here. This is a busy time of the year. And whether you came from across town, across the state, in some cases out of state, we appreciate you making it a priority to be here today with us today to engage on some of the most important issues facing higher education in our state and in the country. Affordability, completion, workforce, and really thinking together about how we innovate, collaborate, and ensure that we're preparing more Texas students at higher levels than we ever have in the past for this 8th largest economy in the world. We know that Texas is the #1 state for business. Employers continue to come to our state. Businesses are expanding in our state. We continue to hear employers say they struggle to find the workforce they need, and we know there are thousands of good jobs available today in Texas. Jobs that require something beyond high school, not necessarily a baccalaureate, but some education and training, anything from a short-term certificate up to a research doctorate. And what we want to explore over the next day and a half is how we work together to ensure, again, that more Texans are prepared for those opportunities. I want us to consider a couple of data points. Those of you who know me know that I can't miss an opportunity to talk about the 8th grade cohort data, or what we call the Texas Talent Trajectory. This is an 11-year look back. So you'll see down at the bottom that it's data from the 8th grade cohorts of 2011, 2012, and 2013, which means it's data as of 2022, 2023, and 2024. This is the most recent data we have. This is 3 cohorts of 8th graders to show you how our talent moves from high school all the way through completion. We need more Texans prepared for higher education, accessing higher education, and completing, not just completing a credential of value. Again, a credential aligned to the workforce, high demand fields to take advantage of this robust economy. So you'll see over on the left, that's our high school graduates, that dark bar. The lighter blue bar is those who enroll in higher education. You follow it across. I get in trouble, or people make fun of me when I say chartreuse, but I think that's what it is. Light green. Sounds better than pea green. Orange down on the bottom, and then orange down on the bottom, those that enroll in 4-year institutions. See this narrow band that comes off of the 2-year sector down to the bachelor's degrees. Those are our transfer students. And ultimately on the right, you see the completions. And what you'll notice is we under-award certificates and associate's degrees, and we're still struggling to get more students into bachelor's, especially through transfer. So this is the reality for our talent. And if you think about our total talent pool, K-12 and higher ed, 7.5 to 8 million students, we'd be like the 21st largest state in the country, just for the scale that we're trying to do things in Texas. Large geography, large student population, and unlike other states, at this point we have a stable student population out through pre-K. We don't have a demographic cliff. About half of the students that graduate from high school each year enroll in higher ed, but only about half of them finish. Currently about 1 in 4 Texas 8th graders completing any form of a credential, again, a certificate, a baccalaureate, or an associate's. Coming soon, we'll be integrating out-of-state completions in this flow. So you'll be able to see how those 30 or 40,000 students that enroll out of state every year do in terms of completion. When you look at it this way, drives home the point in a kind of a clear-eyed way that we're leaving too much Texas talent on the sidelines. Dark blue again, high school graduates. To the right, those that enroll in 2-year institutions, those that enroll in 4-year, those that complete 2-year, those that complete 4-year. But we've got lots of opportunities in this state. We've got opportunities to work with a large, youthful talent pipeline. We have opportunities to match those students to jobs in this economy that provide opportunity and economic mobility, that ensure they thrive individually and that our state continues to thrive. We've made progress. Several years ago, if I had been standing here, I would have said 1 in 5 Texas 8th graders goes on to complete any form of post-secondary credential. Now it's 1 in 4. So we've made progress. It demonstrates that it's hard work, It's generational work, it's systemic work, and it's work that we have to continue. Our future literally depends on it. So that's the grounding. That's the sobering part. The rest of the conference is about all the cool stuff we're doing to change that. All right, we're going to start by hearing from a group of students. I think, so we've got data, have to be clear out about that. Students speak truth and tell us what's really going on. We've got this theme from classroom to career. I realized as I was thinking about my comments this morning, from classroom to career, a future-ready Texas, I need a verb. So I'd like for you to think about the verb that you would insert that describes your work related to a future-ready Texas. And is it building a future-ready Texas? We like the word building a talent-strong Texas, building, creating, shaping, innovating, collaborating for, stewarding a future-ready Texas. I'm going to come back and I'll ask you that question a couple of more times. And if you catch me out in the hallway getting a cup of coffee or wandering around, I'd really be interested in what the verb you would insert in a future-ready Texas would be. So think some about that and reflect, I hope, on what we hear from the students this morning about their journey from classroom to career. And we'll pick that theme up. It's a continuous, obviously it's our theme. It'll show up in just about everything that we do over the next day and a half. Think some about how your work every day interacts with that theme. I'm going to switch over to my notes as I invite the students up, and you'll understand why when I start talking about Austin's major in just a minute. I'm going to introduce the panelists, and I'll call them up, and we'll engage in this panel with the students. So Lisa Cantu, a second-year doctoral student at Texas A&M University in educational administration with a public policy focus through the Bush School. And Lisa is also our current student representative for the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. Liberty Heidenreich is a senior at West Texas A&M University, majoring in agricultural education. Austin Messer, a radiological technologist with MD Anderson Cancer Center, pursuing a bachelor in science as well as a certification in computed tomography and interventional radiology. That's why I needed my notes. And Tanash Koshike, a graduate student at the University of Texas at San Antonio, pursuing a Master of Science in Computer Science with a focus in data science and artificial intelligence. The panel is moderated by Dr. Richard Rhodes, longtime leader in higher education, deep career, serving as president of 3 institutions, El Paso Community College for 10 years, Austin Community College for 12, and now president of A&M Central Texas. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Rhodes, Lisa, Liberty, Austin, and Thanush. Welcome them to the stage.
Well, good morning. How is everybody this morning? Okay. I know you're wondering about the picture that up there of me. So let me make it clear. A lot of us, as we age, we think when somebody asks for a headshot of you, you want to look as young as possible. And for me, that's as good as it gets. So, thank you for joining us. Wynn talked a lot about the data that takes a look at how we are doing in higher education within the state of Texas. Behind the data, there are individuals, there are people, real people, and you get to meet 4 of those real people today. And we're going to ask them some questions. But the first thing I want to do is, they have life stories. And oftentimes life gets in the way of persistence, completion, graduation, and going into the workforce. And so I want each of the students to just tell us a little bit about themselves. And then I'm going to ask them the tough questions because this is finals week for them. And so, Lisa, can we start with you?
For sure.
Okay.
So As Dr. Rhodes mentioned, I'm Lisa. I'm a native Texan, so I was born and raised in South Texas, primarily the Rio Grande Valley region. A little bit about me growing up, something that was really inspiring for me was watching my mom. So when I was 2, she started her associate's degree at Del Mar College when we lived in Corpus Christi, and then watched her both get her associate's, bachelor's degrees, and then master's degrees, all while being a full-time mom, full-time student, and full-time teacher. So that really inspired me growing up to then pursue my own higher education and spread out to Texas A&M. So I've been in College Station for going on 6 years now. Started in 2020 to age myself. First started out as a public health major, and I really wanted to be a pediatrician. Wanted a career that helped people and positively impacted them, and I thought that the medical field was the way to go. Took a science class at A&M and then realized math and science was not my forte at all. And so I figured if I was going to go into career, I should A, like what I do, and B, probably be a little good at it. So looked and changed my perspective on what I wanted to do and saw that policy really impacts people every day, whether they know it or not. So then decided to go with political science. Came in with a bunch of AP credits, so that helped me do Texas A&M's dual degree program. So did my bachelor's in political science and then master's in public administration, focusing on education policy. And so my dad worked for the government, my mom was a teacher, and so focusing on education policy was kind of the marriage of those two, seeing, teachers and teacher retention, all the things that go into education policy. So I decided to go for my PhD in education, leadership, and policy.
Oh, that's great. So, Liberty.
Yes.
Does anybody, I just shouldn't say this, but does anybody ever tease you about the Liberty Insurance commercial?
I think every single day of my life I hear it. I'm pretty sure when I played softball in high school, it was my walk-up song.
So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Liberty Heidenreich. I'm an agricultural education major at West Texas A&M University, and I am a Texas Leadership Scholar. That's why I'm here today. I originally was born in Colorado, around the Greeley area. I was there for quite a while, and then my family decided to make the move to Texas, and now I love this beautiful state that I want to live forever. I came from a family that was a low-income family. My mom was a teacher. She was the only one that was able to bring home the bacon. My dad was disabled in a lot of ways. He has a lot of medical concerns and issues that kind of left us in a bad spot. So for a long time, I didn't think I would have the opportunity to go to college. I knew I wanted to do something in agriculture. Everything about agriculture I absolutely loved. I wanted to grow as many plants as possible and be around as many animals as humanly possible. I think that I've spent more time in the barn than my own house, and I love every second of it. When I was homeschooled up until high school, and I got to learn a lot from that. And when I went to public school, I was thrown to the wolves. I was a little scared. I was not used to the everyday going to school thing. I was used to 3 hours of school and then in the barn. But I learned a lot from going to public school and changing things, and I was actually able to learn how to teach people in high school. I had a couple ag teachers that didn't do me very well, but I was able to see that I wanted to do better. I come from a long line of teachers, a long line of educators, and it made sense to me that I wanted to teach agriculture. And I absolutely know that that is what I'm made to do. I love helping people see what they can become, to succeed and grow and learn something about our earth and how to sustain it. And I think that I have found the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life, and that's really exciting for me.
Awesome. And one thing that you told me is that you completed, 70 hours of dual credit?
I did.
Yeah. At Amarillo College? Most of it at Amarillo?
Most of it was through Amarillo College. I had a few classes that came through Frank Phillips College as well.
Yes. Yeah. Proud of you. Okay. Austin.
Yes, sir.
That's a great name to be right here.
It's right for Texas. It's right for Texas. No, My name is Austin. I'm with UT MD Anderson Cancer Center in downtown Houston. I was born actually in San Diego in 2002, and I moved to Arizona in 2004, and then I've been here ever since then, so about 19 years. I know nothing other than Texas. I'm too young to know anything else, but I went to public school all here, all throughout high school, and then I really didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. I kind of took a shot at a couple of things. I started off with chemical engineering at Lone Star Community College, got to Calculus 2 and hit a real hard wall. Couldn't really get past that, even doing like tutoring or 8 hours a day, just doing like one worksheet. I was like, man, I can't get past this. And then kind of how Liberty said, I just wanted to take my shot at possibly being a history teacher. And I was just scrolling through some different things online, and I actually stumbled across MD Anderson's radiology program. It's a 3-year program. I'm 2 years in. I already have my X-ray certificate through them. At the end, I'll get my bachelor's CT and interventional radiology certificate. And they possibly have a nuclear medicine program coming up, so I want to pursue that as well. Yeah, that's really it. I've just been Texas through and through, just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Born in San Diego, but you got to Texas as quick as you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanush.
How are you, sir? Can you hear me? Perfect.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm Tanush Koshike. I'm currently pursuing my master's in computer science with a concentration in data science and AI. So I was born in India, Hyderabad. It's south of India, and I immigrated with my parents here to the United States when I was 7 years old. We first lived in Florida, and then when I was 10, we moved to Texas, and I've been here since then. And I fell in love with the state, like as everyone did. So I really didn't know what to pursue in when I was about to finish my undergrad, or when I was finishing my high school. And I was interested in biology. I wanted to be a cardiosurgeon. I wanted to do all these things. I wanted to be a pilot, however. And but I really didn't know. But my mom was my biggest motivator to pursuing computer science. She's a computer science major as well. She has double masters in computer science and statistics. And she really persuaded me. She motivated me to pursue computer science. And I still don't know what I'm doing in computer science. I didn't know AI is big. Right. But I'm starting to figure out that this is really interesting, and this is something that I want to pursue. But I also want to pursue something in student development, as I'm starting to find, as I'm working on campus right now as a graduate assistant with the NAGEM Center, my wonderful people over there, I'm starting to find out that student development is so important, especially in college, especially in higher education. And I want to see how my career field as a computer scientist and in AI can help student development, make college easier for everyone, make college easier for students. So that's a little about me, guys. Thank you.
All right. So we have one native Texan and 3 transplants that love Texas. So, the first question I've got for you is, as we attend higher education institutions, we've got 2 that are related to Texas A&M and 2 related to the University of Texas. So when we attend, we have faculty that come into our lives. We've got people who work in student affairs who come into our lives. A whole host of people that make you feel like you belong. And so can you tell us of what really inspired you about the institution that you attended?
You want me to
You go first.
All right. I think it's on that note of faculty who really help and all those who come before us who help us along our way. And so I think something that really inspired me was those who came before me, so graduates of A&M who went on to do incredible things, wanting to be like them one day. I know we have some Aggies on the coordinating board and hoping to do things that they do, but also the deans and the provosts and all the professors who just pour into students. I know that they have such a heart for students, and like the Noosh, wanting to help make college easier and have a better experience and invest in that student experience. Didn't really know that until I kind of got into my degree a little bit more, joined a few committees, and there was one of a student experience committee that they really wanted to see how students really engage with campus and how we can make it better. And I think seeing that was really inspiring for me. Of one day I hope to be in the education space, and can I make that future impact on a student? I think something that also really inspired me is the future. When I was an undergraduate, I was a tour guide for the university, and seeing students come in every day wanting to make an impact on the world with such high ambitions and wanting to have such a career that impacts their communities, the state, and the nation was really inspiring for me. I one day in the education space can make it so that they can be successful, and so that was really inspiring for me as I continue on, because those who have done a PhD probably know it's sometimes not the easiest thing, and so trying to get through it is also looking towards the future.
And you're working on your PhD.
I am.
And you've identified your dissertation topic?
For now, see how a proposal goes, if that gets accepted or not. So we'll see down the line. If my advisor is listening, please. My current idea is looking at AP credit and dual enrollment, how they're accepted at different institutions across the state, maybe across states, as well as how that impacts where students go to college and why they go to college. Sometimes it's different accepted. I know at Texas A&M sometimes some majors accept a certain credit, some don't, just because they want students to take their version of that credit. That way it's like a stabilizing course. So looking at that and looking at kind of the policy side as well as the student side and getting those voices in there to inform policy one day.
I think this is the voice of a future president. And sitting next to you, you've got a person who has a lot of experience in dual credit.
That's true.
She could be,
I know.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about what inspired you
For my school,
at your school?
I fell in love with West Texas A&M the second I stepped on campus. I had been there a couple times before for different events for high school things, but it didn't really hit me that that's where I was supposed to go until I actually took a step looking at, could this be where I go to college? And I immediately fell in love with it. I loved the size, it was perfect for me. I loved the ag program. I loved the professors. I had a lot come and talk to me, and immediately they showed how much they cared. They showed that they wanted me to succeed and wanted me there, and I absolutely loved it. I knew that I could grow there and succeed there, and I honestly only went to one campus tour. I was so confident in WT that I stood on the soil and said, yep, okay, how can I register right now? And that was it, really.
That is great. Great story. And so, did all of your dual credit apply?
It did.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because, yeah, praise the Lord right there.
Yeah.
Quite a ways for 70 credits to go down the drain. Thankfully, WT was incredibly good at making it work. They understood that an English class is an English class, and a basic math class is a basic math class, and those sorts of things. And so I don't think there was a single credit that didn't cover something. I have extra electives, but other than that, nothing was out of place.
And the faculty actually know your name?
Yes.
All right. Austin, what inspired you?
Well, starting like 2023 when I started this school really inspired me just about being there, was being about part of the care team, and especially with some of the experiences my mom has gone through with the medical field. Just being that, even though I'm like a small cog in the care procedure of like a patient or whatever, just being there, being able to be like a comforting figure or help them get through, because it can be nerve-wracking. Sometimes they don't know what they're getting when they get there, or exactly what's going on. So just kind of being there, being reassuring. That's something they drill into us from the get-go, like once we start clinic. And I owe that a lot to my supporting staff of teachers and mentors at the school, as well as the techs at either of the sites. Because, oh man, like when I started this past semester of CT, we have to start IVs on patients, and I am deathly afraid of needles. But I'm in there sticking people every time I get my blood drawn. I'm like, no, yeah, stick me. But no, now I'm in there every day, just quick stick, and people enjoy that, so that's fun for me. But man, just being able to be there for people when they really need it can really just make the biggest difference, and that's what really inspired me from being there at UTMD Anderson.
All right. Danush?
Yes, sir. So what really inspired me was that I wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go out of state. I didn't want to go out of city. And since I grew up in San Antonio, I fell in love with the city. I actually love San Antonio more than Dallas or Austin or Houston. I love San Antonio. But I seriously didn't want to go out. I wanted to stay at home. I knew the struggles of a new as a new college student or a freshman staying outside of the home. And what really motivated me to attend UTSA was the community. And I think UTSA has a tight-knit community of people who are friendly and amazing and who support each other. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's like perfect size. And I was also, what kept me there at UTSA, because I was actually considering to move to UT Austin. And then I was looking into schools in Dallas, but what really motivated me to stay was that my friend actually introduced me to this program, this cohort and this department on campus, which is called the NAGEM Center. And I really found my family there. That's what I like to call. They are wonderful, amazing people who help students who come in to UTSA with their career goals, student development, helping them to find themselves and encouraging them to do better in whatever they're doing. And they're right there. Erica, Rachel, and Christina, they're right there. And you guys. But that's what really motivated me to stay was the NAGEM Center. And I'm working for them right now as a graduate assistant, and I would love to work for them in the future as well.
Yeah. You know, I just have to tell you, over there, the NAGEM Center. So when I was interviewing Danush, I don't think I heard NAGEM Center spoken 50 times in one sentence. No, you have made a sense of belonging, and thank you for doing that. So. Okay. Now, all of us think we know what careers we want to go into at some point in time, and we oftentimes change, and we've heard some of that in your story about your life. What if you could point out one thing, what helped you decide the career pathway that you now have chosen to get your PhD in?
So on that note of what I want to do in the future after I graduate, mark your calendars, 2027, late to 2028. I'm thinking of graduating, so if anyone's hiring at that time, please come let me know. Also, if anyone knows how to relatively quickly finish a dissertation, any and all advice is greatly welcome. But I know I want to go in that field of education policy, education leadership. I think what really solidified that for me was being in the Valley. I think it's a melting pot of people. There are so many different backgrounds. There are some students who came with their families from Mexico. There are some students who came from different states. There are some people who have been lifelong Texans, some wanting to go into higher education, and some wanting to take higher education through through a different route. So whether it be a trade school or going through, getting some kind of credential that doesn't necessarily mean a 2-year or 4-year degree. And seeing those options and seeing what they want to do with their future, I think really inspired me to go. And, that was what made me choose to go through education policy, is how do we make sure that students who want to go in a specific career have the tools that they need to succeed and innovate different spaces that we have. I think that was really what geared me towards it, and what keeps me motivated every day is how do we continue to build a talent-strong Texas and really gear up our economy to be sustain being one of the largest in the world.
So you're a great voice on the higher ed coordinating board.
I hope. That's the goal.
You bring that into the conversations. So that is great. So liberty, liberty, liberty.
Wow, I can't get away from it all. Well, as I mentioned before, I grew up in agriculture. I loved it. And I came from a family of teachers. And when I was little, I said, no, I will not become a teacher. Everyone I know is a teacher. Well, here I am, senior year, becoming a teacher. So it's funny how those things work. But I know that that's what I'm supposed to do. This year was really neat because I got to actually go into the classroom a lot more. And it just felt so right. I loved watching these high school students care sometimes. And then if they didn't care, you could find something that interests them. And it was really neat to me, even being there I wasn't even the teacher. I was just helping a couple weeks at a time. And I could see a change in people. And I really want to see that happen. I want to be in a classroom where I can see the change in people that never thought they wanted to go to college or never thought that they could be anything at all. Instead, I want to be able to guide them and help them and teach them and help them grow into the person that they want to be. And I was pretty confident in what I wanted to be by the time I was a freshman in high school, which was good since I took all those classes. I think that something that really helped me out was that I actually looked at degree plans. I looked at what classes would actually go towards a degree, and thankfully I did know what I wanted to be way back then, and I was able to kind of gear my life towards it. Thankfully, I'm still geared towards it and haven't changed my mind, and I'm not going to, thankfully. But I think that that's an important subject too, is making sure that if you are taking dual credit classes, that you're taking dual credit classes that actually could help you in some way. I know a lot of people that have taken some that were terrible and didn't help them at all in what they want to do. And I ask them, why'd you take that class? They're like, I don't know, I just took it.
Yeah. None of them in the state of Texas, though. Those were all credit classes in other states. So, yeah. And you're going to do your student teaching this spring.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Are you excited about that?
I am incredibly excited. I was a little bit nervous thinking, this is finals week and I'm done with classes. I'm actually going to just be teaching next semester. And I know that it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be able to do something every day. And even though it's the same thing, it'll be different every single day.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
And what grade level?
I will be mostly in the high school so freshman to senior, possibly 8th graders, but mostly high school.
Okay. And you're still excited?
I am very excited, yes. It's my passion.
All right, Austin.
Yeah, I kind of want to said it earlier. What really shaped my decision to pursue this career was my mom, seeing her go through. I went into MD Anderson thinking I wanted to do MRI, and so I did the observations for it. And that machine is so loud, and the scans are very slow. Thankfully, the machines are getting much faster. But when I saw CT and interventional, I fell in love. I really love interventional. I love being in surgery. I just love that whole environment. It can sometimes be chaotic, but it just adds a little spice to your day. You know, a little hair pulling never hurt nobody. But I fell in love with surgery, especially nuke medicine. They have a program that they're trying to get started, and I can't see any better way of trying to help people in need through like a scary, confusing time than just being in their surgery, taking care of them, or even just a common CT, just reassuring them, getting them through their day.
Austin, you may also have a future in comedy.
Yeah, no, not like that. More like stress-induced panic, but masked with some calm demeanor over it, where they can't see I'm freaking out.
Especially when you're sticking them, huh?
Yeah, exactly. No, especially at first, I was like, oh my god, I can't do this. But once they, the team I was doing my clinic rotation there, they really helped support me, get me through that, help me build my confidence. Because now they'll be like, go start an IV. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
No problem.
We got it. First try, first stick. There you go. But that's it.
All right, Thanush.
So, like I said, I really didn't know what I wanted to go into after high school. After I graduated high school, I was in high school. I was actually doing public health, and I wanted to pursue med school and do biology in undergrad, finish med school, go into or finish undergrad, go into med school, and then wanted to become a cardiosurgeon. But I was lost. I really didn't. I wanted to do it because I wanted to do it. I thought that was interesting, but I didn't have an interest in it. However, when I was speaking with my mom, I was telling her about it, and she knew exactly what she wanted me to go into. Because to all the mothers out there, y'all know this. Y'all know your kids better than we know ourselves. So my mom, and I'll tell you this, and my mom knows me better than I know myself. And my family is full of techies. So all in computer science, and they all are in AI, data science, and she knew that's where I need to go. So that's where I would have a secure, safe future. And so I started my undergrad at UTSA in computer science, and starting off the first 2 years, and some of the bit of third year, I really didn't know what I was doing in computer science. I was lost. I didn't like the classes. I used to go to classes, get good grades, but really didn't find an interest or a passion for computer science until AI started to come up. And that's when I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I started to explore, well, you guys all know ChatGPT. I really love prompting. I really like to pull its brains, and I'll try to figure out what makes ChatGPT. So that's what is now. I found what interests me, AI, and I want to know the ins and outs of AI and how it can do what it can do, and how it's like a personal assistant for us. And I think that's what I want to do right now. That's what it's
Okay. There's a lot of anxiety about AI today. Probably out in this audience, we've got a lot of anxiety about AI and what the future is, the ethical and effective and efficient utilization of AI. We'll come back to that.
Yes, sir.
But now I'm going to turn to a courageous conversation with the panel, and that is, all of us in higher education believe in continuous improvement. Everything we do is not all right. There's areas that we can continue to improve how we work with our students. The dynamics of what's going on in the workforce and preparing our students for the workforce can be daunting for all of us in education. And I think what I want to hear from the students is, what can we do better? We do a lot of good things, and you've talked about all of the good things that we've done, in preparing you for a career, in how we treat you, how we make you feel belonging. What can we do better? What could improve your journey when you look back?
So I think, yes. So I think as you're mentioning, continuous improvement. So before I kind of go on to what we can do better, I'd first like to acknowledge, like you mentioned, things that we are doing well right now. And so I'd like to thank everyone of you for being here, because you're investing in our future and you're wanting to see how we can make things better. And if you interact with students at all, I've heard from countless students the positive impact that professors, faculty members, staff members make on students all the time, how they feel lost, and one faculty or staff member made all the difference. So thanks for being here, first off. And on the way of continuing to improve, had the chance to speak with some students yesterday and see what can we do to make things better. And so a few things were preparing students for real life, the career, and everything else that comes with it. So something that we had mentioned is personal finance, taking classes maybe that help them learn what they need to know, how to buy a car, what a mortgage is, how to save for retirement. 23 feels like going on 63 sometimes. Of like, I probably need to find out what a 401k is.
And 63 is young.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
My dad's 63, so I figured, that's sometimes I feel like, oh man, I'm relating to you a little bit too much right now. So I took a class through our agricultural department, which is Foundations of Money Education, that really prepares students for that. And so, across institutions, across systems, enhancing that to make sure students feel prepared for that. Another thing was civics, and how do we, participate in our communities, learn to vote, register to vote, make sure that we participate in our democracies that, shape our systems at the end of the day. And so those were some things, and also preparing students for the workforce. I think there's equal value in knowing what you do want to do and what you don't want to do. And I think internships and real hands-on learning is a great way to do that. I had an internship going into my junior year. Do not want to do that at all, but it was a really great value experience. It was, finding how to work in the workplace, finding, interpersonal dynamics, and working with a team, and, hands-on skills that will translate wherever you go. So I think that's something we can continue to improve, encouraging students to go through internships, offering credit for internships, things of that nature, to make sure that students feel prepared for what comes next. College is 4 years, and then it's also for life. You want to take what you learn through college and prepare it for whatever you do next.
And it is lifelong.
It is.
So,
lifelong learners.
Yeah.
I think that something that we've already mentioned, and I'll let the expert over here to cover it more, but is definitely learning how to use AI ethically. I mentioned in our meeting that I see it as a tool that if you walk into the shop and you're looking at all these tools, but you don't know how to use it, it's not going to be effective. It's like trying to hammer a screw into the wall with a hammer. It might get there, but you're not doing it right. And I think that something that could be implemented is in those freshman orientation courses or those intro classes, having a little bit of it to focus on what are AI ethics. How do you use this, and how do you use it effectively? Using it where it could benefit you as a tool, but not using it to damper your education in a way. Using it as more of an easy way out than using it as it should be used. I think that is very important. And again, I'll let you, the expert, cover it more in depth. But my personal opinion on it is that it's something that should be used right and not ineffectively. I also think that in terms of classes in college, and if any professors out there, I'm sure you'll agree with me that one of the best ways to learn is hands-on. Doing things with your hands, kinesthetic learning. And I think it's very important that we do that, because I know plenty of professors that really implement that, and I know plenty of professors that they don't. And that's really hard to learn something when it's memorization or reading a textbook and trying to write an essay over something that you don't know. But if you're able to get out and do something, you're able to see it come to life, able to interact in some way, it helps you learn on that deeper level, which I think will help people astronomically. I think that will help people grow way more than just memorizing to get by on a test.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is important is looking at those internships and those clinicals and student teaching and how we can help that make that affordable to students. I know that I'm going into a whole semester where I can't even work because I have to student teach, and it's going to be really challenging on my wallet. Thankfully, I have scholarships to cover my cost of school, but it's the living expenses and the driving to and from school and anything extra that comes up that are really challenging. I know a lot of internships recently have become more paid internships. I think that it'd be a great thing to implement more of is being able to help cover those costs in student teaching and nursing clinicals.
Yes.
and things.
All right. You've got a cheering squad out here for that. Paid internships for student teaching and for clinicals for nurses. Okay.
And she took
I was
the
going to
words-
ask you.
Yeah, she took the words right out of my mouth because that's where I was going. But yeah, it's just the I think one thing that they could do better is the paid internship part. Because man, the art team, at least at MD Anderson, they do a really good job taking care of us. Because one of my first days at like X-ray, it was my first experience in the medical field, and it was a culture shock. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I just kind of shadowed, try to get my bearings a little bit, but I don't know the best way to implement something like that for them. But I know right now, we took our finals in October because we do 8 weeks of class and then 8 weeks of 5 days a week clinic. So I'm probably spending a good 16, 17 hours with the driving and being downtown. Then I go to work right after through our work program there, but maybe a little paid internship. Maybe if you reach a threshold, it's a slippery slope. I don't know the best way to implement that, but I know the place I'm at now, they hold me in high regards. They really enjoy my time there. They trust me. So maybe if you reach a certain place, you can maybe achieve something like that. But I know that would help me and other people who have way different situations than I, where maybe they have kids at home, maybe they're spending time away from them. If they're in the same situation where they have to go to work right after, maybe providing a little incentive while they're training on the job for their job, they could help them out like in that regards.
You know, when you talk about that, one of the things is, do you feel like there is a good mix between face-to-face classes and online classes or hybrid classes?
Oh, absolutely. We do a little bit of both. So we do mostly in person, so some hybrid, but they're very good at communicating that to us. We're like, oh, this Friday we're gonna be online, or we're gonna be in person because we have a test. So usually I'll try to base my schedule around there, but there is benefits to both. It does alleviate some of the travel expenses. I don't mind traveling, since I'll be like, oh, okay, I can work that day. I'll just work right after class. This works. But I feel like there is a happy medium with it. I personally enjoy the hands-on classes a little bit more. Keeps me more attentive because there's not as many distractions. Yeah. But I know a lot of people do enjoy the convenience of being at home with the hybrid.
It's hard to stick somebody online, huh?
Yeah. Hey, they actually, one thing, they're doing the MRIs now online. They're at home, and the radiology technologists are in there just at home, just doing the scans. They have an assistant in the room doing it all. I don't know if I would do that, but maybe they can get me one of those little robotic arms to drive IVs for them or something like that.
That's the future. Okay, Thanush.
So I think one thing that I want to see in colleges and higher educations better is that opportunities for international students. I'm an international student studying at UTSA, right? So it was really hard for me to get an internship or go into the career field and explore what the career choice I made. It was really hard for me because the opportunities that the corporate world like to see is if you're a citizen here in the United States. However, F1 students, they have a really hard time getting real-time experience. Without real-time experience, really you don't understand where you want to go, or should I even pursue this, or am I wasting my time, or my finances? And I was blessed enough to find the NAGEM Center to give me that real world experience through the strategist program, and to allow me to be a consultant and use what I've learned in my major to help another company out. But I really do wish we see more improvements in that area for to help out international students find more opportunities, find more real-time experience. But I also do think it's really important to for universities to acknowledge students that it is okay to let them go through what they're going through. College, one thing that I found out, it's really hard. It's stressful. There's a lot of stressors. Depression plays a lot of big part in that, and I think some universities and some people they're in their own world, and it's really hard. That's why we for college students to feel like they belong there. And I think if universities and schools can allow their students to feel belonged, a sense of belonging, like a home, that there won't be dropouts, there won't be suicidal thoughts or whatever it is. And I think if we improve that part, I think that would be beautiful.
You know, these yeah. See, cheering section for you too. So, you know, what we've heard is all four of you have had the opportunity to find relevance in a career pathway through your higher education institution, whether it's through paid internships or, and hopefully you'll get paid for yours. You know, but that's the hardest thing, I think, is combining the classroom knowledge that you gain plus some kind of hands-on experience really brings relevance to the career field that you've got. And that's what we see in each one of the four of you. You're getting that right now in some way. And so that's one area that I think you're telling us we just have to keep working on to find better ways to make that happen. One more hard question, and that is, you know, as we read and we look at the media and we hear about different individuals saying, you know, college education isn't worth it, or questioning, is it worth it? How do you respond to your peers when you hear something like that? So, Lisa.
Great question. So I'll start this off a little anecdotally. So I sometimes get asked that question, especially, you know, education policy. That's kind of the question that you really get. So I always kind of mention that over Thanksgiving break, I was scheduled to get my wisdom teeth taken out. And then I realized I might not recover before Thursday, and I'm not going to cook if I'm not going to eat it. So I decided to reschedule it. But I'm a little scared of the whole tooth extraction thing. So I would hope that the anesthesiologist that I go to and, you know, the dental hygienist and everyone who is involved in that process are skilled to, you know, sufficiently take my tooth out, you know, problems there, and that way, you know, smooth recovery, and that they're trained and they feel confident in what they're doing. And so that goes through higher education. And that, you know, higher education, I usually think of it not just as a traditional 2-year, 4-year, but also trade school. So we have some, you know, grown Texans, and for the Texans in the room, when it's August and it's 95 degrees at 11 a.m. and your air conditioning goes out because it's overworked, you would hope that the HVAC technician is also trained in what they're doing and knows how to adequately diagnose and then fix the problem so that you're not sweating at 11 a.m. So I usually think of it at that. And so there are so many different career paths, and accounting and doing taxes and, you know, going into seeing those lawyers and all of those different professions that require something more than just a high school diploma, and really creating this economy and this workforce that is trained in doing, you know, to contribute to what we do. And also, you also think of those who are doing a research degree, and how do we improve systems that are in place that we can continue building on that. That way we can not only provide for the current, but also look towards the future. So that's, the first thing I think about the value of higher education is preparing students for that. And I think there is a little bit of responsibility on the student to know what they want to do and, look at what they want, what the career they want to get to, and see what the pathway to that looks like, which is a little daunting for 17 and 18-year-olds, but there's always time to change. I'm a product of that. So that's the first thing I think of. The second thing I'll think of is more so what we call at A&M the other education. So not only learning the skills, but also interacting with others. I'm about 300 miles away from home at college, so it was, separating and finding who I am. And, a lot of who I am is shaped by the values that my parents instilled in me, but it was going off on my own and finding what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, and having a community that also shaped that. I think it was a little kind of, I'll say, unique at Texas A&M because we have our core values that we all live by and strive to, and I think that was kind of what led me to A&M as well. But looking at higher education not only as a place for you to get the skills that you want for your future, but also the soft skills of who you are as a person and finding who you are as well.
Excellent. Okay, Liberty.
I definitely agree. I think that it is so important that we have professionals out there that know what they're doing and are skilled in the trade that they are doing. I also am a firm believer that college isn't for everybody. I believe that there are people that just don't need to go to college. They're not made for that. And I believe that that's okay. I believe that some people, it's best that they choose other things. I think that's always important to have that option, that they can do this, but also allow them to know that they could go to a trade school, they can go to the military, they can do something else and not have to go if it's not right for them. I believe that everybody's different and a lot of people desire different things and need different things. My brother is graduating this year and he's going to the Marines. And I think that's perfect for him because he's not really the type that loves school. He's incredibly intelligent and that he could go to school and I'm sure he would do great, but it's not what he enjoys. And so I believe that that's exactly what he's supposed to do. And I think that having that dynamic is important in our country for sure. I think that going off of back to the professional thing, I think that if I'm looking at, for me in particular, that it's been important that I've gone to college because I want to be able to educate and be skilled as an educator so that I can help shape young minds. If I didn't go to school, if I just kind of taught, then would I really be skilled enough to teach young minds? Maybe, but maybe not. I think that it is important that in my case, it is good to get a degree. It was fit for me. It's been important for me. I have learned so much through higher education that I will be able to take with me forever, wherever I go. It's been the exact thing that I was meant to do, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. I just think that also there's people that it's not meant for them. I don't think that there should be any kind of discouragement against higher education. I think that it should be looked at as a really positive thing. I just think that in different people, it's different for everybody.
We're glad you're in education, and you're going to be able to share that with your students this coming semester. So, Austin?
I'm right in the same boat. I think there's value on both sides. They both provide great opportunities. College, for me, has given me a sense of belonging, the training I need, and the confidence I need to be in the field I am. But like Liberty was saying, some people just maybe it's not in their cards. Maybe they just can't sit in a classroom. I know my brother, he's a mechanic right now. He's kind of in that same boat. But I have great respect for the trades. I feel like there's a lot of great value that you can provide through a certificate program or just any like trade program you can find out there, just the equivalent to some of the programs we're going through because society needs, but all of us all in one working together. So I feel that I can see both sides. I would never discourage somebody if somebody was giving me their plans to go to a university, but like, man, good on you. I hope everything goes best for, or they want to pursue other things. I know I almost pursued a career in the military for a while there until I found this program. So, I mean, wherever you can find a home, I'd say that's where it is.
All right. Thank you, Thanush.
So I in the Indian culture, higher education is really important. It's a way of knowing where do you stand in the family, based on the amount of degrees you have, or what what you're doing in your career field. But while I was growing up, I I knew I had to get a college degree, and I knew I had to do something. Like I said, I didn't know what to do, and that really pushed me to think, do I really need it? And like how Liberty and Austin said, I think it depends on the person, what career choices what career field they're gonna go into. Me personally, as a computer science, wanting to know more of our computer scientist, wanting to learn more about AI, and I think higher education has taught me more about AI than I actually would have learned if I was by myself. But there's also the other end where, if you guys know Mark Cuban, he learned coding in 2 days and built this big. He built a company. He built a software and sold it for millions of dollars. So it really depends on where you're wanting to go. I think higher education definitely helps and shapes a person, but I think that some people don't fit into the higher education area, or they don't need college to become successful, to become someone that they want to be. But personally, I think it is important for me.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes it is what's the right time. You know, at A&M Central Texas, we have a lot of military students or military affiliated students. And what I hear from them is, you know, maybe when they graduated from high school, they weren't ready to go to college, but now they are.
Yeah.
You know, they've gotten into a field, they found something, and maybe they needed, you know, discover some self-confidence, a lot of things, discipline that was necessary. So I just want to say this panel is awesome. You know, when I think about, this is the one thing as a president I love to do, is to visit with students and to hear their stories and hear what they think and what they feel and what they have experienced, what could be better. And I love it because it gives me hope for the future to talk to the students like these four today. So I just want to say, can you join me in giving them a round of applause? These are awesome.